CHEO Bear, wake up! It's time for the telethon. We're late!
We consider all of the nurses her aunts and uncles.
We will always be indebted to them.
I think CHEO has a lot of fantastic doctors.
Live
at CHEO.
plus virtual visitors from all over the city and region.
Thank you, CHEO. Thank you, CHEO. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, CHEO. Thank you, CHEO.
And live from the CTV studios in the Byward Market.
Can you hear about me?
Good job! Yay!
This is the CHEO Telethon. Here are your hosts from CTV News, Graham Richardson and Patricia Bowl.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the 38th annual CHEO Telethon. For the second straight year, we are back at the CTV studios and we are live from CHEO.
Well, things are slowly starting to get back to normal. We still have a bit of a way to go, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And so much of that feeling of hope and strength we will see today throughout the telethon as doctors, nurses, staff, and of course families share their stories.
And of course, the reason we're here, get those phones ringing. All money raised here will help CHEO continue to provide world-class care. Bell Media is a proud sponsor of this hour's telethon.
We have a live look now at our virtual phone bank, the number and website to donate right there on your screen. We hope to keep our phone bank busy for the full 6 hours. We promise there will be laughter, tears, and plenty of cheers as we focus on how many people are rising up for kids of Eastern Ontario.
And joining us now live from CHEO is President and CEO Alex Mutter. Alex, this is an extraordinary year for everyone, in particular the hospital. What's in front of staff, in front of people as they try to recover here from this extraordinary event?
Well, good afternoon. Good to see you again. Everyone is tired. It's been just such a unprecedented 15, 16 months. And one of the things I think that's different this year was reflecting on last year's telethon when the pandemic was just a couple of months old. I think this year people understand a lot better that there have been huge impacts on children as a result of the pandemic. Kids have paid a huge price and have really. We all owe children and youth enormous gratitude for the sacrifices they've made so that together we can beat COVID-19. And so as we look ahead here at CHEO, we were already and realizing that there was slowdowns in care. There's a backlog of care. There's catch up that we need to do, whether that's surgery or medicine, mental health development and rehabilitation. But there's also new needs that have been created as a result of the pandemic. And so we really are looking ahead to enormous need from kids and families for the services that CHEO provides. And so we're so grateful for the telethon. The telethon really, I could walk anywhere in this building and point to things that are there because of the telethon. And I want to really express our appreciation on behalf of everybody here at CHEO for the generosity of our community. And this year matters more than ever so that it can help us put kids back on track to a more normal life in the coming weeks and months.
And Alex, what do you mean when you say specifically new needs created by the pandemic? I think for some of us who are living day in, day out with kids, with teenagers, maybe see it firsthand, but you certainly see it firsthand. But for some of those out there who don't really understand what kids have been going through and what they will be going through as things start to get back to normal, what is it exactly that you're seeing?
Yeah, so remember, every day matters in the life of a child, in the development of a child. And so when you defer, when care is deferred, when kids can't get what they need, that has impacts. If a child can't get dental surgery, that might affect their language acquisition. If a child isn't able to get physiotherapy or other therapies, that could have lifelong impacts in terms of their mobility. And so we see every month now we are getting 1,000 more referrals for care than we have the ability to see. Over the course of the year, that's 12,000 kids that we're going to add to our wait list if we don't really mobilize government, the community, our own resources to be able to see them. So that's a big deal. We really need to be able to be there for kids. But of course, the other thing is the closure of schools, the loss of activities, the isolation that many families are experiencing. That has an impact on kids. And, we're seeing that here, particularly when it comes to mental health. Our eating disorder unit has 6 beds normally. We've got 4 times that many eating disorder patients admitted into the hospital right now. We're seeing big surges in demand for mental health and referrals to those services, kids in need. We know, that the impact on learning will be significant, but also the impact on development of physical and mental health. So we're thinking about all those things, and I think the takeaway is that the pandemic has had a huge impact on kids and families. People can count on CHEO. We'll be there for you. We will be there to support kids and families on the way back. And we're looking to the families, so we're looking to the community through the telethon to help us do that.
It is a very big day and a very big year, and we will speak with you, Alex, later on in this hour. We appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
It is
Thank you.
Heavy stuff as we get going here, but there's going to be a lot of bright moments throughout the next 6 hours, including a great example of kids helping kids right now as we head to Leanne Cusack, who's standing by with a generous donation. Leanne.
It is such a privilege to see all of the initiatives out there in our community, all for CHEO. Joining us now from Glebe Collegiate for the 10th year, we have Catherine Caldwell and Anya Zimonich here with Glebe's Kids for Kids. Anya, tell us about Kids for Kids.
Yeah, so Glebe Collegiate Institute started a club around 10 years ago to do some canvassing around the neighborhood to raise money for CHEO.
We're very appreciative of that. And this is, as you said, a student-led initiative, Catherine.
It is. We have, they work all year long, and we have one time in May that we go out and canvass. In the past 2 years, it's been virtual, obviously, so a little bit different. But it's a really fun time, and the kids always look forward to it.
And you have brought along a check for...
We raised $6,000.
Whoa, that is fantastic, and that is Glebe's Kids for Kids. Thank you so very much.
And we are off. Great to see that. Well, having a baby is one of the happiest moments in anyone's life, but some come into life earlier than expected, sometimes with complications.
But CHEO, the highest level of care for the tiniest babies, is found in the neonatal intensive care unit, also known as the NICU.
And that's our focus this hour. To give you a better understanding of NICU, let's take you behind the scenes.
Hi, my name is Tina Lepage. I'm a nurse in the neonatal intensive care unit, fondly known as the NICU, here at CHEO. This baby is probably about what we would expect to be about 2 to 2.5 pounds. These are the babies that the staff use to train and do our simulations on, so that we can train all our new nurses when they come and do simulations to keep our skills up as well. Sometimes our babies stay for a really long time. Some of our babies can be here for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, depending on their illness, depending on how premature they are. So just like everything else on our tiny babies, all of our equipment is very specialized. The diapers are smaller, the blood pressure cuffs are smaller. We actually have the Preemie diapers are made special for the NICUs. This is a Preemie diaper. This is a micro Preemie diaper. So this little tiny diaper would fit a baby that is about a pound. And this blood pressure cuff, which literally fits on my thumb, would be the one that we would use for a 500-gram baby. We do something in our unit called primary nursing, and basically what it is if you've kind of bonded with a baby and a family and you feel like you'd like to be involved in that patient's care on a regular basis, you sign up to be a primary. And so the idea would be that whenever you would work, they would try to put you with that patient so that there's some continuity of care. It helps because the parents get to know the nurse, and the baby gets to sort of know a certain touch and a certain care that a nurse provides. But over the years, that's probably been one of the most rewarding things I've done in the NICU is primary nurse. And I love it.
Just amazing work.
I have had the privilege of going into the NICU a couple of times. Amazing, amazing staff, so patient, incredible parents, and what a beautiful spot that is.
Huge part of CHEO.
Well, we are going to go over to Matt Scooby. You'll recognize him for now. He's still got hair for today, so enjoy that. And he's standing by at our phone bank trying to get those phones ringing through the afternoon, Matt.
Yeah, one more day, Graham and Patricia, one more day, and then the hair is coming off tomorrow night. But we're talking about the telethon this afternoon because, again, whether it's the NICU, whether it's other areas of the hospital, whether it's the outreach that CHEO does and welcoming patients in from other places across the country, they do remarkable work. We need to get the phones ringing. Let's have a look over at our virtual phone bank. Hello, I know they're taking some calls, which is a very good sign. But if you're listening to me in the virtual phone bank, give a wave. I think most of them are actually on the phone right now, which, thanks to all of you, is great news. But the number to call is on your screen, 613-730-CHEO. That's 613-730-2436. You can also call toll-free 1-833-744-2436 as well. So again, those phones are busy already, which is a good sign. We're going to keep them even busier over the course of the next 6 hours. Graham and Patricia.
All right, Matt, good stuff. Looking forward to it.
He's going to be a busy guy. We've got lots to do over there. Good to see the phones ringing. Another busy person for us is Leanne Cusack. She's here with another check presentation from Wireless Wave. Leanne.
Thank you. We all know how challenging these times are. So many people working from home and 2 store managers keeping people working from home. We have Robert El-Khoury and Ryan Cook, who are team leaders with Wireless Wave and T-Booth Wireless. Good to see you both, gentlemen. It has been a challenging time, but you still managed to raise money for CHEO. Tell us about that, Robert.
So we're in the telecommunications service, and we provide connected services for home and wireless. We've been collecting donations since 2016 for the CHEO Foundation through our customers and family and friends.
And Ryan, I know you've probably had your own challenges keeping people there on the front lines working to keep everyone else working.
For sure, but it just goes to show the generosity of our communities that this year, in spite of everything, we've been able to raise $38,732 for the CHEO Foundation. And as Robert mentioned, since 2016, we've raised actually over $250,000 for the foundation.
We cannot thank you enough. I know you focus on being wireless, but you have left us all very wired in this studio for the CHEO Telethon. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Throughout the telethon, you're going to meet many of CHEO's patients, including some who spent their earliest days there.
Like our next guest, who is not so tiny now, but was only 2 pounds and 9 ounces when he first arrived at the NICU to fix his tiny heart. His first surgery would be when he was only 6 weeks old. Joining us now is 12-year-old Jacob Gribben and mom Jennifer and dad and siblings. The whole gang is there. So can't even imagine having twins, having them both come early and dealing with some of what you had to deal with. Tell us about Jacob and Nathan's first days at CHEO.
Well, it was a little bit crazy. Like we said, it was just a routine. Started off as a routine checkup at the general hospital, and they wouldn't let us leave. They said, "No, you're not leaving until these babies come." And so we had everything all set up and monitored and that, and throughout the night. It was actually Nathan's heart rate that actually dropped, and he was kind of tugging at the strings saying, like, we need to get out, we need to get out. So the boys were born just before midnight on October 30th, September 30th, for emergency. And Jacob was rushed. Really know what was going on. They reassured us that he was okay, but he had to be taken over to CHEO for more observations. And within about a week after he was born, the hospitals had told us that Jacob was born with a heart defect, and so both Jacob and Nathan spent like 3 months in the hospital over at the CHEO and the NICU center.
Okay, I'm afraid we're having a little bit of difficulty with our connection. It's obviously been a very long road. It looks like all of your gang are growing beautifully right now. So we will update your situation in a little bit. But thank you so much for taking the time out to share your story with us and your experience in the NICU. We appreciate it.
Great family. So wonderful to see that. They're on their way in a very big way. This is one of our favorite parts of the telethon. People wait for this. It is, of course, the Miracle Match.
This Miracle Match is sponsored by Ifc Seafood.
And we want to welcome now Leslie Roberts to the program, who kind of like getting to sleep in today. Leslie,
absolutely. And I'm excited because I'm to be back part of the CHEO Telethon. And this is important, as Gray mentioned, for the folks at home, because the Miracle Match means you can double your donation. We're pleased to welcome back our old friends at Ifc Seafood, a Canadian-based supplier of premium fish and shellfish products. They have been committed to supplying the finest quality seafood to retail and food service right across North America for 2 decades, and they are proud to be among one of Costco's trusted seafood vendors. They bring the delicious products to all of Ottawa families. And as I said, they're thrilled to be a Miracle Match sponsor again this year. Thank you, Ifc Seafood. All right, let's get going. The man with the best hair in television for another 25 hours is joining me to kick it off. Go for it.
Very true. Thank you, Leslie. Here we go. Let's start the clock, shall we, on this very first Miracle Match of the afternoon. Thanks to our friends at Ifc Seafood. So Leslie mentioned it. This is your chance, and over the course of the afternoon, to really have your impact on the kids, the families, the staff, the doctors, everyone at CHEO. So you can double your donation in the next under 3 minutes now, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. If you give $25 right now, it's going to turn into $50. If you give $100, it's going to turn into $200. We will match that, and Ifc Seafood will, right up until $5,000. So call the number on the screen right now, 613-730-CHEO, 613-730-2436. Our virtual phone bank is already fairly busy, and they're going to get even busier now, hopefully, Leslie.
I see Kim. She's still waiting for a call. And as Alex Mutter said so well off the top, we still don't know the full extent of the demand post-pandemic on the kids. We do know one thing. It's going to be great. And this is where you get a chance, folks, to make a difference. Double your donation with the Miracle Match.
Melina and Malia, how much time do we have left?
There's just 2 minutes left in this Miracle Match. Call the number on your screen.
You can also call toll-free. Thank you so much for that, girls. 1-833-744-2436 to help the kids and to help everyone at CHEO. So we have a lot of these coming, but don't wait. Don't wait for later in the afternoon. Don't wait right now. If you're watching right now, it's always good. I can't tell it, Leslie, because people have headphones in now, and they're not actually picking up the phone.
I think I got one here. He needs you to
call. A couple people
right
to call
now, folks.
to get in to have your donation. Again, make sure to have an impact and double that right now as well. We've talked about it. We will continue to talk about it over the course of the afternoon. $25 becomes $50. $250 becomes $500. If you can, we appreciate all the support that we can get from you this afternoon, because it is so crucial. I will go back to Leslie too. We talked about, you heard Alex Mutter talk about it off the top. The needs for kids right now is so imperative. The number of patients that they help every single year. Jenny and crew, how much time do we have left?
1 minute left, and it's
They're yelling at you to donate, so call the number right now, 613-730-CHEO, 613-730-2436.
You know, Alex Mutter, again, pointing to everything in the hallways through the hospitals and how a day like today, the CHEO Telethon, he can say, that's courtesy of the folks who called in. That's courtesy of the folks who called in. You know, and especially during the Miracle Match, that your donation is going to make a huge difference. Do it now.
Do it now. I want to give a special shout out here to Xander Zaltilny, Xander's podcast. Xander was actually a telethon story for from a few years ago. And he has his podcast now. He just donated $1,000.
Nice.
It came in. He's been raising some money for CHEO. Thank you, Xander, for that. Some great names. Matthew McConaughey, Jimmy Kimmel are on his podcast. So, Xander, thank you so much for calling in. Be like Xander. Be a hero for CHEO. Call in right now, 613-730-2436. You can continue to do that. We want to thank our friends at Ifc Seafood. This guy
a little off the top,
Sure, right? No,
because you got so much hair, you can't just take it all off.
Stay in your space over there.
You're lucky we're 6 feet apart. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Ifc Seafood. We have lots more miracle matches coming up. Grab it, Patricia.
Don't run with those, Leslie.
No running with scissors, even around his hair.
Did Matt agree that he has the best hair in television right off the top?
Yeah, I think so. I think he did. And I think it's pretty much undisputed, especially after Friday's newscast.
I'm working with the 3 best-looking men in TV, so how nice is that?
Goose in the talent. Thanks, Patricia. We're going to head to Leanne Cusack and Logan's Heroes. Leanne.
Logan Hussein is a pretty incredible fundraising hero for CHEO, and he has a team of heroes. Logan, you're a superhero who had a challenging start in life. We'll get you to tell us about that, but also would like to welcome Peter Nicholson. Hi there, Peter.
Hello.
Logan, CHEO became part of your story very early on. Tell us about that.
So when I was born, I had a collapsed lung, and I spent my first 9 days of life in CHEO, and I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the doctors, nurses, and support staff at CHEO. So I owe great debt to them, and this is why I chose to, instead, in lieu of gifts at my birthday party, I asked for donations to CHEO.
You have been doing that for quite a long time, and I have to say I'm in awe of you ongoing, because it's not just birthday party gifts. This has blown up. Peter, maybe you'd like to talk about your interpretation of Logan's philanthropy.
Well, my firm, the Foundation WCPD, has been a sponsor for the Philanthropy Awards in Ottawa, and Logan won the Youth Philanthropist of the Year a couple of years ago. And he's by far the youngest we've ever had, and doing such great work. I wanted to get behind him and help him with every way I can in raising larger donations.
Well, you've done that. So, Logan, this year you are presenting a check to CHEO for how much?
More than $88,000.
Wow, Logan, thank you so much.
Some amazing numbers early in the afternoon.
Absolutely.
Our next guest is not only a hero for CHEO as a donor, but he also fixes the tiniest hearts.
We've heard many describe him as an angel in disguise and a miracle worker.
Stephan Keys, also an angel in disguise, joins us now with a very special guest. Steph?
Well, it's time to check in with one of CHEO's finest, and on the line we have Dr. Giandeo Maharaj. Thanks for being here.
Not at all, Stephan. Thank you very much for the privilege.
Of course. Dr. Maharaj, you are the chief of the Cardiovascular Surgery Division. Can we start with talking about tools? Contextually speaking, you operate on some tiny bodies and even tinier hearts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes the size of a coin. I can only imagine that modern equipment is so vital to what you do. Please tell us more.
Definitely, we need a whole host of instruments. Some of them specialized. One of the biggest challenges we have is that the fidelity of these instruments are one of the biggest things we have to worry about. So, the ability for them to hold a needle properly, to get into tiny spaces, and do the things you want them to do, because you're often trying to reproduce hand movements with at distance with these instruments. And so the fidelity of that interaction needs to be, 100%. So these instruments are very, very finely crafted. It doesn't take much for them to get out of that range. And so that's one of the things that we need to constantly work with, is keeping a good set of instruments going all the time. As you imagine, these things are highly crafted, precision, usually titanium. So it's a constant cost that we have to look at, and keeping this up and running is one of the things we work at pretty diligently.
Okay, now we know where our donor dollars are going. Needless to say, this is critical, life-saving work. How's the department running during the pandemic?
It's been really quite inspiring. As I'm sure most of our listeners are aware, all of the facilities across the province have had to pivot to a accommodate adult patients. CHEO is no exception, and we've done that, I think, incredibly well. It has created quite the challenge, but there's very much the spirit in CHEO of rising to the challenge, so that we were able to do that. And more importantly, we were all very clear that we could not let this interfere with our primary occupation, which is looking after kids and babies. And so we were able to kind of maintain all those facilities running without having our desire and ability to help out with the adult patients not interfere with that. So that was really quite inspiring, and it was really quite remarkable to see how everybody in CHEO came together to have that happen and really function pretty much flawlessly.
All right, let's stick with that theme of inspiration. As a cardiologist, you make your way into so many people's hearts, and I don't mean literally, I actually mean figuratively. I don't think I have to tell you, but the feedback from patients and their families comes with a songbook of praise for you. That being said, with so many special memories, can you share any moments where you felt inspired in return?
Oh, they're countless. I mean, we one of the things I really enjoy about my job is I get to interact with children through a whole spectrum. I interact with babies, and I always tell my kids, it's great. I get paid to come to work and play with babies, and then young kids, their practicality and their wisdom, from the 5 and 6 year olds, it's always inspiring. I've had 5-year-olds where I've taken tubes and lines out of them, and at the end, they're upset for 2 minutes, and then they say thank you. And I look at them and say, my God, why in the world would you say thank you? I certainly wouldn't be thinking thank you if I was you. And it's really just remarkable. The teenagers, they I've had, recently I got a letter from an early adolescent who said, they were so inspired by everything they went through that now they're bound and determined that they're going to become a cardiac surgeon to look after kids. And it's like, my God, that's tremendous. One of the more recent, really inspiring things I can tell you about is that, we had to deal with a young child that came from a very distant part of the world as a refugee. By some miracle, they got some attention there for a significant heart defect. And when we first met them here a few years ago, we thought they had not been treated timely and they were inoperable. And then we decided to give them, because they're only 4 or 5 years old, we give them the benefit of the doubt, and we put them on treatments to try and help things turn around. And we were all very pleasantly surprised when about 3 years later, it looked like things had turned around, and now we would be able to offer her corrective surgery. And I remember standing in the ICU after she had gone through a successful operation and looking around. And I thought, this is what's so beautiful about Canada, and this is what's so beautiful about CHEO. I wasn't born here, and I thought, I reflected on a small part of the world that I left to come here, and I don't know where exactly in her country this young girl came from. She'd been through about 3 other different countries before she came here. And then I looked around the room, and there were a few other people who didn't start off in Canada. And then we were all brought to bear to give this little girl a successful outcome for something that seemed hopeless. And I thought, I don't know how you could do this job and doubt that there's a God that exists, because to keep all these moving parts and have them line up just exactly so that this could work out for this little girl, I'm telling you about it now, and the hair on the back of my neck standing up. It was just such a tremendous sight to behold and think about, wow, and recognize that it was a privilege as much for us to be part of this story.
Dr. Maharaj, I'm feeling inspired. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us and for sharing your passion and compassion for your job. It makes a huge difference. Thank you for your time.
None at all, Stephen. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up when I had the distinct honor to go into the operating room and watch Dr. Maharaj repair a hole in a tiny heart, and then to see that little, fragile, tiny patient up and running around just a couple of weeks later. It is a miracle. It's really the only
Amazing.
word you can use to describe it.
Amazing.
Just
What
incredible.
a wonderful story, and obviously such an amazing surgeon, and it's great to hear from him. And we want to hear from you. Matt is at the phone bank, our virtual phone bank. trying to get those phones ringing, Matt.
We certainly are, Graham. Chills, too, I had to listening to Dr. Maher. So wonderful stuff. And you know what? The phones have been actually pretty busy. Let's have a check-in right here. The good news is that, yes, all of our call takers, all of our volunteers who are taking calls, whether you can see them or not, are busy. That's good. We talk about the number 613-730-CHEO, 613-730-2436. Want to talk about numbers. CHEO, so doctors, nurses, staff there, touch the lives of about 500,000. 500,000 kids and youth every single year. They need your help and will continue to need your help as this pandemic, hopefully the worst of it is over as we continue that CHEO. So pick up the phone, give us a call. You can also head online, CHEOtelethon.com as well. Gribben, Patricia.
All right, Matt, thanks. We love the way the set looks tonight.
So colorful.
Everywhere, balloons and bears.
Warm and fuzzy is how I was describing it. Yeah. We don't always get this.
Yes.
And we're going to go over now to Leanne, where she has another warm and fuzzy, very generous check presentation to share. Leanne.
When we are flying, Nav Canada is keeping us safe in the sky. Today we have Lisa Murphy and Ken Walker from Nav Canada because they're also focusing on children's safety and health and how well they're cared for at CHEO. Really great to see both of you from Nav Canada. Please, Lisa, tell us what you've done.
Oh, thanks, Leanne. So NAV Canada has a long history with CHEO, and the motivation behind this initiative was really to come together, even if that meant virtually, and to make a difference while doing so. So together or apart, we got together, connected as a community to give back.
And Ken, you did that in a variety of ways. Please explain.
Yeah, thanks, Ann. What we looked at was doing a virtual 10K walk run to get people active. We've been through the pandemic for about 9 months at that point in time, and we've seen an opportunity to get people active thinking about our employee mental health. At the same time, we wanted to hand back to the community, and we worked with CHEO to support kids' mental health.
And NAV Canada has brought along a check for
$11,285.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leanne.
Excellent. Thank you all. Well, providing nourishment to a newborn is the #1 priority for new parents, but breastfeeding can be a struggle for some.
To meet those needs, CHEO launched a lactation consultant pilot project offering families advice and guidance.
One family shares their experience and the importance of that program. Here's Jackie Perez.
It's been a whirlwind year for new parents Simona and Adam Datota. Between changing diapers and cleaning spit up, they're enjoying these moments of parenthood, watching their baby girl grow. But it didn't come without challenges. Baby Sienna was born 3 months early.
We first ended up at the general hospital. We found out there was a bit of a difficulty with some fluid in the ventricles in her brain, hydrocephalus. And so as a result, we need to see a specialist. So they transferred us from the general to CHEO.
Because Sienna was so premature, she was fed through a tube and IV for the first 2.5 months of her life. During their time at CHEO's NICU, Simona Datota's biggest concern, getting a good latch to feed her baby.
It was, a whole new world of not getting to hold your baby, but having to provide milk. And the importance of breast milk for premature babies is, they need those nutrients.
Through CHEO's lactation consultant program, the team helped the parents by counseling them, providing tools and problem-solving techniques, and answering questions.
And we did every trick and things that I would never have thought of, and so it was really amazing. By I would say our 3rd session, she had latched.
The program for lactation support at CHEO has been in the works for 25, 30 years.
The program launched in December. CHEO staff worked with the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario to bring best practices into effect, and with help from donors.
A lot of what families' goals are, especially at the beginning of a new life, is to feed their baby. How do we incorporate the needs of the mom and the family, but also the needs of the baby?
Since its launch, CHEO has received requests for more support.
Human milk is medicine for these infants. One thing that we would be very grateful for is to have more accessibility to pumps for all of our families that are providing human milk for their babies.
We have been able to expand the program to include the entire hospital with lactation support. We've trained over about 120 staff at this point.
We see this as a real help for staff on the floors. I mean, nurses are very, very busy in hospital. This has been a real benefit for us to be able to have the time to spend with our families to do that.
The nurses at CHEO say closing that gap in resources can empower families like the Datotas.
I did breastfeed for about a month and a half when we got home. All the skills that we learned kind of helped with that.
It was a very emotional time for us. And be able to see someone just come in and just kind of take that one aspect of the stress kind of away.
What a cutie.
Yeah.
And you know, often you spend a lot of time preparing for the birth of your child, thinking about the products you might need and the clothing. The one thing I know I wish I'd done was put some supports in place for the breastfeeding, the lactation consultants, because it's not as easy as it looks. And that's a program that's been long awaited for sure.
And especially with that family laying on top of it, the
Everything
anxiety and everything like that, it's great to see everybody doing well, and what a great program. We've got another check from Leanne Cusack. Let's head over to Leanne.
Thank you, and always so generous in helping CHEO Casco. From the Telfer School of Business at the University of Ottawa, we have Deliksha, Caitlin, and Patricia to tell us what you have done this year. I guess starting with you, Deliksha, welcome.
Hi, yes, so Casco is an entirely student-led charity organization out of the Telfer School of Management at U Ottawa. So our mission is to promote social responsibility through the collaboration of students, businesses, the community, and the performing arts. So we organize multiple fundraisers, all to fundraise for CHEO.
Caitlin, tell us the types of fundraisers, if you would.
The types of fundraiser we usually do our annual gala, which because of the pandemic, we've changed our format to a virtual gala. We've also done recently virtual paint nights, virtual trivia, virtual stretch it out for CHEO. Just a lot of virtual events to keep our audience engaged and keep those fundraising efforts for CHEO at an all-time high.
Well, our gratitude is very real for all of your virtual creativity. Patricia, last word to you. What has Casco raised for CHEO?
So I'm very proud to announce that last year's Casco team raised $53,524 for recreation therapy at CHEO.
Wow, and knowing the importance of the recreation therapy program there, this money will be so well used. Thank you, thank you, thank you on behalf of CHEO. Woo, to Casco.
Some bright young students there.
Yeah,
whoa, more than $50,000.
Student-led charity organization. Excellent stuff. We're going to get those phones ringing for you this afternoon. That's Matt's job. Matt?
Yeah, they are a little bit quieter right now, Graham and Patricia, so they're telling you in the virtual phone bank, call them. Call them. Do we have to sing for me? Hey, no, okay, we'll leave it alone. Carly Rae Jepsen, call me maybe, right? Just a little bit. Call them in the virtual phone bank, 613-730-CHEO, 613-730-2436. You can also call toll-free, 1-833-744-2436 as well. Get those phones ringing. They're waiting for your phone call right now. Why wait? Don't do that. Call them right now if you have a chance, especially if you, again, listening to a story, having a watch, maybe even singing yourself. You better believe there's going to be more of that coming this afternoon, Graham and Patricia.
Can't wait to hear you sing.
I was going to say keep the phones ringing to keep them from singing.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Getting ready to celebrate her first year of life. We met this next patient when she was just 4 months old.
But even at that age, she had already hurled several curveballs at her parents and doctors. As our Stéphane Keys is about to tell us, CHEO was there to catch them all.
Often seen donning a headband with big flowers, the love for Blakelyn blossomed well before she left the womb.
Headband.
Seen here in hospital at 4.5 months old, the budding fashionista stays true to her style as her doting parents sow seeds of hope around her health. Blakelyn's medical journey has been a bumpy ride.
There have been a lot of moments where it's been a very close call.
Born with heart issues, she then developed severe breathing issues that would force several surgeries on a tiny newborn body.
It's just, like Cody said, very hard as a parent not to be able to help or to do anything. But again, it just takes time, and unfortunately we know that when she has one of her episodes, one of her spells, it's generally her airway is collapsing, and we just need to give it time for her to relax and to let the airflow come back through.
Yet, in the middle of an isolating pandemic, it can feel like time isn't on your side. Family and friends had no choice but to love from afar. COVID-19 is a respiratory virus posing a huge risk to a baby already living with a collapsing airway. And that issue isn't even the main one.
At their very first appointment, we diagnosed Blakelyn as having complex congenital heart disease, which encompassed overall something called a complete atrioventricular septal defect.
Simply put, Blakelyn was born with a partially developed heart. The 4 chambers and none of the walls had formed properly. Without those natural barriers, her oxygenated and non-oxygenated blood were mixing. On top of all that, she has a narrow aortic arch, which makes it difficult for blood to flow through and reach the rest of her body.
Knowing she's in the best hands allows us to sleep at night, whether it's here or at home, and keeping in mind that she is going to be taken care of.
Without question, Courtney and Cody say their saving grace has been CHEO. The baby who dresses like a pop star, has a room to herself, and an adoring team of professionals looking after her.
We consider all of the nurses her aunts and uncles, and they've really become her family.
A priceless amount of care that truly depends on donor dollars. Small bodies can require tiny equipment and also come with huge challenges.
There's always a chance that there can be a child who passes away in utero.
Technology allows for diagnosis before birth. At 18 to 20 weeks, with a heart the size of a quarter, doctors could already tell something was wrong. It means they could plan and not be caught off guard when Blakelyn was ready to take center stage in her family's life.
I always tell families, like, my job is to prepare for the worst and your job is to hope for the best. Like, that's how it works.
After months at living at CHEO, Blakelyn is now home full-time.
Where are my kisses?
Still more surgeries to come and appointments are far from over. But for the O'Reillys, coming to CHEO is like coming home, period.
On our best days, they are our best friends, and on our lowest of days, they've been our support and our family.
A place of comfort, not only for young patients, but parents too.
Center stage is the only spot for that little sweetheart. Cody and Courtney O'Reilly join us now from their home with Blakelyn. Very emotional piece. Quite the start for your little one, partially developed heart, the collapsing airway. How is she doing now?
She's doing really, really well. We had a long stay at CHEO, 192 days total, close to about 7 months. And we had a beautiful 3.5 months at home before we went in on May 25th for her 3rd open heart surgery in 11 months of her life. And we just got home 3 days ago. And although we're still in the recovery process, she's still waking up with a smile on her face and continues to amaze us with how strong she is.
The two of you are smiling as well. I know the medical professionals there say it's their job to prepare for the worst. You hope for the best. How have you been able to do that, especially this year with all the complications of a pandemic? Are you best support for each other, or how are you getting through?
You know what? It was definitely difficult, especially with having the pandemic going on. At many times, it was just one parent at bedside, which made it quite difficult, I'd say emotionally for both of us. We're, brand new parents. We both want to be there for her, and this is probably the scariest time of our life. And unfortunately, we kind of had to take shifts as to when we could see her and when we could visit her, but we made sure that 24/7, one of us was always by her side. But I think the big piece was us stressing, us being upset, and us being angry wasn't going to change the outcome. So we made a pact together and a commitment to ensure that despite all the hardships that we were going through, that we were going to remain positive and have hope and faith. And every single day we were, staying strong and had family and friends all rooting her on. And I think that that's went a long way.
We spoke to Dr. Maharaj just a little bit earlier in the telethon. Cody, I know as a dad, you only want to protect your child. You want the very best for them. What are your thoughts about those miracle workers, as we call them, at CHEO, who've had a role in your child's life?
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult feeling as a first-time parent to not be able to control really anything in terms of your own daughter's care. Like Courtney said, the best thing we could do is support with positivity and positive thoughts and be there as much as possible. But the CHEO staff has been absolutely amazing throughout the entire journey, keeping us in a positive headspace, keeping Blakelyn in the best possible scenario and spot throughout her surgeries and recoveries and all the ups and downs. And it's no short of a couple different miracles that we've experienced over the last 3 years with all of her surgeries, the good days and the bad. CHEO's been there through and through.
She is an absolute beauty. We look forward to her fashion line a little down the road. And best of luck to you both. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story today.
Thank
you.
The eyes and the headband.
You were just melting there. I could feel it next to me. Yeah.
Wow.
What a sweetheart.
What a wonderful, wonderful thing. And first-time parents, I just can't imagine. So it's wonderful to see them bounce back like that. We've got more good news, Patricia. This is our second Miracle Match.
This Miracle Match is sponsored by CHEO Staff Forum.
We're going to kick things off here with Leslie Roberts. Leslie.
Hey guys, yeah, let's send some more families home from CHEO. That was unbelievable. Just 3 days ago, they brought their baby home. All right, let's get to our Miracle Match, and we want to thank the CHEO Staff Forum, the hospital's social committee membership made up of staff from various departments right across the hospital. They volunteer their time and they plan the social events for staff. The goal is to bring people together in a creating, fun, social, collaborative, and engaged workplace. Yannick Levesque is joining us. Hi there, Yannick.
Hi, Leslie.
Not a lot of socializing going on this year. How are the spirits of the staff?
It has been very challenging, actually.
Yeah. So tell us, because you know them better than anyone, tell us about the importance of the staff for the folks at home who are watching.
The staff at CHEO is very important to so many families to look after their children. Without them, it would be very difficult, would be very challenging. And so the goal of Staff Forum is to encourage their morale by creating fun activities while at work, sometimes after work as well. And we do this with our Staff Forum lottery that we manage.
Well, you know, I speak for all the community when I say please thank them all for what they do every day, thick and thin, 24/7, through some really challenging times like right now. Thanks, Anik. Appreciate it. Miracle Match sponsored today. Over to Matt.
Let's go. Let's start the clock, shall we? It's a $10,000 Miracle Match by, again, you want to talk about heroes in our community. They are stepping up right now to match your donation. So call the numbers on your screen. 613-730-CHEO, 613-730-2436. We're doubling those donations for the next 3 minutes. Blake, I still not over Blakelyn either though, Leslie, too. We talked about those cheeks, the eyes, just looking up at mom and dad, so adorable. It's because of the staff at CHEO. She was able to go home a few days ago after another open heart surgery. How about this too? Yeah, call. We have people in the virtual phone bank too. Give them a call right now because we want them to pick up the phone right now. There's a couple people that are not on the phone, so give us a call right now. Have a chance. Tracy's out there waving.
Yeah,
Who else is out there? Christy's on the phone. Jeanette's down there too as well. She's on. She's not taking a call either.
Let's put them to work. Now's the time to call, right? This is the Miracle Match. This is your chance to double your donations.
Let's do it. Gabby, how much time do we have left in this Miracle Match?
Only 2 minutes remaining in this Miracle Match. Pick up your phone and call to donate.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Speaking about spectacular views out there as well, from Gabby too as well. This is where we have your donation. You can have it doubled. You can have your impact. This is the time to do it right now. Pick up the phone. Call us.
You know, this is the year when a lot of families discovered the folks at CHEO for the first time. Through the pandemic, we know that it took a tremendous toll on our mental health for the kids, right? And so families who never turned to CHEO had to suddenly turn to them and say, help, what do we do? This is beyond our capacity as parents. And we know that that need is only going to grow, which is why you need to call right now and double your donation.
And your dollars, again, are going to every different part of the hospital. We're going to have you bring you some fun facts. Love a good fun fact.
Go
Leslie
for it.
Roberts. Well, not right now. No, we're going to bring them over the course of the afternoon is what I'm telling people. I have a few. Okay, we'll do one here in a second. But before we do that, I want Lena and Amira. How much time do we have left in this Miracle Match?
Just 1 more minute left in this Miracle Match. Please call the number on your screen. Right, Lena? Yeah.
Yes, Lena. Thank you so much. And to Amira as well. Under a minute. Okay, fun fact for you. Ready?
Go.
Close to 47,000 kids at CHEO said last year. That's 47,000 tongue depressors that they needed last year alone.
And you know, there's lots of equipment, of course, at a hospital. And did you know that they have to spend more on equipment when it comes to a hospital specifically for kids? Because, well, let's think of just a blood pressure cuff. They're all made different sizes, right? Kids come in all shapes and sizes, adults not so much, so they have to buy so many different pieces of equipment for the kids in particular, and that's why they need you to make your donation right now. The phones, they're ringing.
They're busy. Everyone has picked up the phone. So thank you for calling and for donating no matter what. Again, this is so important. And thank you again to the staff at CHEO who are sponsoring this $10,000 miracle match. It does not get better for us than that. When all these people are no longer paying attention to the two of us, they're on the phone talking to you and taking your donations. So that's going to do it for this miracle match. Again, thank you to the staff at CHEO for sponsoring this one. We've got lots more where that's come from too. Gribben, Patricia?
All right, fun fact for you, Matt. I know you love CHEO Telethon Day. You also love Christmas. We're going to be channeling Christmas here for the next minute or so.
We are. The Magic of Lights, a great tradition, a new tradition in the city. And we're going to head to Leanne Cusack with another check. Leanne.
Dazzling lights, Christmas joy. We are speaking of the magic of lights on this June day. We look back at the holiday season and thank Karen Sparks of Wesley Clover Parks and Grant Reeves of Fun Guy Events. Well, thank you for being here, Fun Guy and Giving Gal. Really nice to see you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Happy to give to CHEO.
Karen, this has become a legacy event. It's really become synonymous with Christmas in the capital. Tell us about what you've done for the hospital.
Well, we doubled our donation this year because it was such a success given the pandemic year. You can understand why people didn't have much else to do, and we were so happy to be an event that could, provide people some joy during the holiday time when there was so much limits to what we could do, and to be able to use that success and double our donation really means a lot.
Oh, and you're a fun guy all the time, a particularly fun guy, Grant, when it comes to a give like this.
Well, this year, as Karen indicated, we're doubling the amount. We're going to be donating $50,000 this year to CHEO, and we look to grow that each and every year.
Whoa, thank you so very much for your ongoing gifts to CHEO, and thank you for making this day very sparkly for all of us.
Our pleasure.
Some amazing numbers there. Great start. We're almost through the first hour, Patricia.
Love the magic of lights. Love the CHEO Telethon. Matt wants you to know 202 sleeps till Christmas.
There you go. He's got it nailed.
Of course.
Before we check our first hourly tote board reveal,
we are going to head back to Leanne, I think, for another check presentation. Leanne?
Thank you. And when we think of Walmart, we think of that happy face. Well, we are all about to be wearing very happy faces because Audrey Laurent, who is joining us from Walmart, is not only going to discuss the 28-year relationship with CHEO, but some pretty incredible fundraising. Audrey, lovely to have you here. What have you done?
Thank you very much. 28 years that we are partner with Children's Miracle Network. And since then, we have raised more than $9 million. Of course, this year with the COVID and all that, it was kind of different, but it was not a reason for Walmart to not fundraise for CHEO. Kids are our future, and we need to do everything that we can to support them. So we have two major campaigns at Walmart. We have our Christmas campaign, Spark a Miracle campaign with our famous teddy bear. We have our May campaign, which during we do all kind of activity. And also this year, in 2020, we have sold a new branded CHEO reusable bag, which was a huge success with our customers.
Well, we can only just imagine how huge a success it was with your customers. Wonderful fundraising initiatives. Thank you very much. And now I'm just going to tell everyone to brace themselves for this total. Here is the virtual check now for how much, Audrey?
So on behalf of Walmart, I'm very pleased to present you a check of over $839,000.
Whoa, Audrey, that is phenomenal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On behalf of CHEO, whoa.
Thanks, and thanks to all of our associates.
What a total. Thanks to the associates.
Thanks.
more than $800,000. That is just amazing. The connection between that ask at the cash and the actual donation is just massive. Thanks from Walmart.
Walmart's such an incredible supporter every year. Well, joining us once again live from CHEO is President and CEO Alex Mutter. And Alex, you mentioned right at the start of our hour that the pandemic itself creates extra work at the hospital. The catch-up from procedures that are deferred will create extra work. And in the middle of it all is your incredible staff who have been working so hard and who are exhausted. Talk to me about the contributions of those people at the hospital that are the best pieces of some of these children's lives.
Well, you know, I've always been in awe of the people here, never more than in the last 15 months. They've truly risen to the occasion at, like healthcare workers everywhere, but the people here with such a big heart. And, you know, I've been getting letters and emails and tweets from families about their experiences at this time, not wanting to come to the hospital, coming to the hospital at a scary time, being reassured by the extra lengths people have gone to keep them safe and help them. And I was struck by something, you know, as I watched this first hour of the telethon. You know, there's been so much sad news and bad news for the last 15, 16 months of this pandemic. CTV should be promoting the telethon for no other reason than to give people hope. These are beautiful stories of children and family on the path to lifelong health, and a community that is rallying to support them. And I think it is such a hopeful sign.
We couldn't agree more, and we've talked privately about how punishing the news cycle has been this year for everyone, for people delivering it, people having to watch it, and we are experiencing a much greater reaction to those positive stories, don't you think, Patricia, when we get those out? So that's what today is about. And by the way, we are into the first hour, and we have our first big number, and it's a great start. Let's have a look.
There it is, the big number. This is part of the positive story that we're telling right on this beautifully emotional day. Read that out for us, Graham.
Wow. Nearly $2 million, $1.955 million, almost $1.956. Amazing start to the telethon. Your reaction, Alex?
It just blows me away because, it's part of that story of hope. It is individuals and businesses and community groups in our community being part of that story of hope, of putting kids on the path to lifelong health, of being there for each other. It's so uplifting. It's not just about what this money will buy in terms of equipment and programs and research, all those really, really important things. It's also about what it means because it comes from people's hearts. Absolutely. And we're just so grateful.
Alex, we're going to let you go, but don't go far. We'll bring you back before the end of the telethon for sure to talk about the really big number.
Yes, and it's going to be
We'll see you then.
Thanks so much. Time for a quick break, but there's still plenty more to come on this 38th annual CHEO Telethon.
First, a special message to the staff in the NICU.
Thank you so much for taking care of me when I was in the NICU. This hour of the CHEO Telethon is brought to you by Bell Media. Can someone get that?
Hi, this is Bill Carroll at 580 CFRA. I just want to say for me and all of my colleagues at Bell Media how much we appreciate the importance of CHEO to everyone in our community.
You often hear visitors say they feel they're somewhere special when they step into CHEO's buildings. We are so lucky to have one of the best pediatric care facilities in the country right here in our own city.
As parents, we know how important CHEO is to our community.
CHEO makes such a positive impact on the lives of children and youth.
And provides their patients with exceptional care, programs, and services.
In 2019 alone, over 6,000 youth and kids were admitted to CHEO.
And over 7,000 surgeries were performed. And there were over 73,000 emergency visits.
Thank you to all the doctors, nurses, and support staff for all that you do.
For your hard work and your compassion.
For helping kids, youth, and their families each and every day.
Now more than ever, CHEO needs the support of our community. To make a donation, call 730-CHEO or make a donation at CHEOtelethon.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donate if you can. Monthly giving is one of the easiest ways to make a daily impact and help children and youth at CHEO. Consider becoming a monthly donor today, and Door 8 Property Management will match your donation up to $50,000. Call now or make your donation online at CHEOtelethon.com to become a hero for CHEO. Families can count on CHEO because CHEO can count on you.
Every child deserves hope and healing, specialized care. 170 hospitals, 14 in Canada. There's one near you. They all need your support. Children's Miracle Network, helping local kids.
This is the CHEO Telethon.